Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Football League Hub podcast. Today, we are going to be discussing all the latest transfer rumors and deals with Chris.
Hello, it's Chris here. We've got a lot of transfers to go through today, so we're mainly focusing on the transfers in this episode. So the latest news of where players are potentially going, where players might be signing contracts, and at the end we're going to talk about director of football information. So stay tuned. We're going to speak quite heavily about a few players, especially Premier League players. So Fred's going to fire us away.
Yeah, so let's talk about David Alaba. In the past few days, we've heard about that he's close to an agreement. Actually, some journalists have said he has an agreement with Real Madrid over a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
What's your input on that?
Well, it's the change of circumstances because what's happened here is that Juventus were in poor position, as I spoke about a couple of weeks ago. Now, David Alaba always wanted to go to Real Madrid, but he didn't actually think they had a lot of concrete interest in him. But we don't know what, and we're going to talk about Ramos afterwards, but we don't actually know what's going to go on with Ramos. So it looks like Real Madrid have offered quite a lucrative deal. So it looks all agreed, and I think we'll get an announcement pretty shortly about David Alaba for Real Madrid. So if that's the case, then it could be someone's departing from Real Madrid because they already have 3 quality centre backs. So let's see, but it does look like David Alaba is off to Real Madrid, and that's a good deal for Zidane. But it also indicates that they're probably trying to save money for another particular position if they're not going to spend on the centre back. But that's a real bargain because it's costing nothing. So it's about 4 to 5 years by the looks of things. I would say it's probably 4 years rather than 5 years, and it looks quite lucrative. So wish David Alaba well. Hopefully he does well. It's his dream to play for Real Madrid. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits in and if he plays in different positions because I know they can do that. So it's going to be interesting, and I think that's why Real Madrid are signing him because of how versatile he is. So yeah.
Yeah, a couple of months ago, we heard some rumors that he might be off to Juventus. Obviously, Juventus are very good at these kind of deals, these free transfer deals. What do you think might have gone wrong with that?
I don't think anything's gone actually wrong or something's fallen to the wayside. I think it's the fact David Alaba prefers to go to Real Madrid because it's his dream. So, and when that happens and the club knows, it's going to end up being an easy deal for them. So, I feel for obviously Juventus because he would have been a good buy, but it's the players prefers to go to Real Madrid, then that's fine. That's the best thing for him. So I think it's more that Real Madrid have just stepped in and Juventus have sort of called the interest a little bit on David Alaba. They're still monitoring the situation, but I think we're going to get an announcement pretty soon of where David Alaba is ending up at Real Madrid.
Yeah, going on to the next player that we wanted to talk about, Sergio Ramos. You highlighted there that the fact that David Alaba is possibly going to Real Madrid means that Real Madrid are going to lose a player, a defender.
Yeah, it's.
Do you think that might be the case with Sergio Ramos?
There's 2 things here with Ramos. It might be that they, and I know this is on the cards, where they might give him a year deal, and I think Ramos was probably looking for a little bit more longer. And we haven't heard any extensions. He might sign a new contract with a year extension. But what it's looking like at the moment is that he is leaving. But, these things can change with Ramos. We've had this in the past where he's got a new lucrative deal. So the only issue is they've got Militao and Varane. So that, those 2 defenders will want to play as much as they can. So, and I can't see them getting rid of those 2 players. So at the moment, I think Real Madrid are sort of resigned to the fact that Ramos might be leaving or in a year's time. So they're trying to, David Alaba is available now. He's free on the market. You're never going to get a chance of getting that kind of quality player for free again. So Ramos looks like he's at the end of his Real Madrid career, and he's had a very good career at Real Madrid. So I wish him well wherever he goes. But at the moment, it looks like he is off to a different club. But again, there could be a 1-year extension involved in that one. So it's a 50-50 with that one. But it does suggest with Real Madrid stepping up their interest, there's something that's gone on behind the scenes for them to understand someone's departed. But I can't see Varane or Militao leaving. I think those two players they're still very fond of. So that's where we are with it.
Yeah, we had some rumors earlier today that Sergio Ramos could be on his way to Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a chance in that?
There's always a chance when Pep's involved or Man City are looking for the elite sort of players. So Ramos is, loads of clubs are going to be looking at Ramos. There's no question about that because he's a born leader. Some of the stuff he does is quite interesting on the pitch, as you know. So, but he's a born leader. So a lot of clubs are going to be involved in him, and I see Man City as one of the front runners. I just it suits them because they're looking for a leader at the back. They do have Diaz. They have a lot of defenders already. So if they are going to look for Ramos, they are going to have to sell someone. And it's the same principle as Manchester United needing a defender, that the club's going to need to sell someone, or he's going to be very busy at the back. So there is some little interest in Man City. It's just too early for us to say that they're actively going to look for that deal. I think they're just monitoring the situation at the moment with Ramos.
Yeah. I mean, I would love him at Manchester United. He's such a good player, and we need that kind of character at the back.
Yeah. I still think there's, Ramos was quite close at one point going to Manchester United, if you remember, and then he signed a new contract. So there might still be a bad taste for Manchester United looking for Ramos. And Ollie might be saying, do I need that type of player? And I still think there's the young sort of centre-back that they're looking for, like Uber Mancano, is the ones they're looking for. I'm not going to say no because, Manchester United might say, actually, we need some sort of leader to get a hold of our defence for a couple of years. So that's what Man City will be thinking. And a lot of clubs will be saying that is actually Ramos is a leader. He's won, Champions League, World Cup. He's won everything that you can possibly get in world football. It's just, and it's something that Pep probably would like as well. So, and I'm sure Ramos would love to work with Pep. So I'd say Man City would be the likely destination if it was a Premier League.
Yeah. Staying in Manchester, I mean, Moises Caicedo to Manchester United.
Yeah.
So many contradicting reports.
People guessing.
On a personal point of view, I'm very confused. I have no idea what's going on.
People are guessing.
We heard some reports yesterday that there's been no contact, and today we've seen reports that there has been contact. And
there's been contact.
And apparently it's a kind of strategy for his parent club that they always put out there that they are not interested, that they have no contact to be able to get much larger fees. What do you take on that?
I don't see them getting a larger fee for a 19-year-old we've only just realised who he is in the last couple of months. They just don't see that happening. There has been talks. You can't deny that. It's just that some of the journalists or the people that are putting it on Twitter are just guessing at the moment, is the truth. So with the player at the moment is that he wants to go to Manchester United. Manchester United want him. The likely thing is, though, he's going to have a stopgap in between. He'll go on a loan. So go on a loan for a year is what I'm hearing. The Manchester United, that will suit them because they don't potentially need him straight away. So, and he's not going to start in the first 11 straight away. So get some good experience in a European team to get that valuable experience. But I can't see them demanding a larger fee for a player. And Manchester United, if they are doing that, Manchester United will say, okay, well, we'll look at our interests elsewhere. They're not going to pay premium amount of money for a 19-year-old kid that's only been recognised in the last 2 months by the media. So I personally think that he's going to come to Manchester United. And I've heard nothing else to say the deal's fallen through. I just think people expecting it to happen straight away is likely he's going to go on a loan and then come to Manchester United. So this one will be sorted by the winter period for sure. So Man United fans have not got to wait too long to see what's happening with that deal.
Yeah, a bit of breaking news. I mean, surprisingly, we are talking about Moises Caicedo. Uh, a Euro- an Ecuadorian journalist has come out and said that there's going to be a crucial meeting tomorrow regarding
Uh-huh.
the duel, the star player, about Moises Caicedo.
Yeah.
And he said now the work permit is not going to be a problem.
Yeah, so the work permit was a problem, but it hasn't been a problem for the last few days. But it's again, and I stress to the viewers and the users that on Discord is that with the media is they report stuff 3 or 4 days later that it's not a problem. And we had this with Sancho, if you remember, that they were back and forth with the wages. Well, the wages were never a problem. It's just they don't get those statements released or get briefed later on because the club wants to negotiate and sort the deal out and delay the time. So they show that the progression is actually slow when it's actually going at a good pace. So I would ignore some of those things that are coming out, to be honest, because the work permit's not been a problem for the last few days, Fred.
Yeah, so you reckon that deal is gonna happen in the window
The deal
in
is
this
the deal
window?
is going to be decided one way or another in this winter period. But United, we need to be a little bit patient in the sense that the club clearly want this player. They haven't called the interest or anything. They will get him. They're good at acquiring youth players, as you've seen. So I know exactly that's a sort of caliber player they're looking for. So United are going to sort it out, but they're not going to pay premium amount of money. So if the parent club starts demanding the extra money, then United won't be interested. So I don't see that happening, and I think Caicedo's agent will say, hurry up with this deal because he wants to go to United anyway. His dream is to come to Manchester. Manchester United want him. Work permit's not the problem. So winter period, we're going to see something done. On that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I would love to see Moises Caicedo come to Manchester United. He's a top
Oh yeah,
player.
don't get me. Yeah, he is a
Yes.
fantastic talent.
Yeah. So moving on to Liverpool, we've heard
Yeah.
some rumors that Mohamed Salah could possibly be on his way out in the summer.
Can be
I just
expensive
wanted
though.
to, yeah, I just wanted to throw this in. Is there a chance that he might go to Real Madrid, or where do you see him going? Or will he stay at Liverpool?
There is rumours for Salah because of the way he's performed in the last 3 years, and that's normal. And people are saying he's unhappy at Liverpool and stuff, which is nonsense, of course. But it's because he doesn't score a few goals in certain games. They think he's suddenly unhappy. I personally don't see Salah moving in the summer. I've not heard massive noises about it, and I don't see Madrid paying the amount of money that Liverpool want for Salah because they'll want a lot of money for Salah. So I don't see Salah leaving Liverpool at this stage. Maybe in the future, but I don't see it next summer. And obviously, a lot of clubs are still going to be hindered by the COVID and obviously the finances as well. So I see Madrid going for someone else, which not on this list, but we all know who that is, which is Mbappe. But we'll see what happens with that. But I just don't see Salah moving at this point. Liverpool want to do some interesting signings in the summer, which I'm not quite sure who they want to go for because they don't have a lot of options. Centre back and probably a creative midfielder they'll be looking for. But Salah's not going to. I don't see Salah going, to be honest, and I've not heard anything around the media to say that Salah's going to. It's concrete to go to leave basically. But things can change. Liverpool might want to look for someone new and fresh in there, but he's not the weakest link out of those front three, so I can see them selling someone else apart from Salah, to be honest.
Yeah, going on to another high-profile player, Kevin De Bruyne. Over the past few days, we've seen reports that he's potentially close to agreeing a new deal with Manchester City, and we've had some, again, contradicting reports that today that he's really not close and it's quite far away. What do you have to say on that?
Well, again, it's a bit, and I stress this to the users and the viewers once again, is that people are just guessing. Whereas De Bruyne is quite close to a new contract. It's just finalising. They're not in a rush, to be honest. De Bruyne, he hasn't got a lot of other options to go to. Amazing player, but he'd be too expensive for anyone else. So, be in the best interest for him to sign a new contract. and for Man City to get it done quickly. But the stuff to say it's not close, it's close. So again, people are guessing because of the amount of time it's taken to sort the deal out. But there's a few things, bonuses and stuff to iron out with KDB. But he'll stay at Man City, to be honest. I don't see him going anywhere else. And Pep's probably looking to restructure his whole team anyway around Kevin De Bruyne and get a new striker in and a couple of other players. So I don't see him not signing a new contract, and I've not heard anything to say it's not close. So, and a lot of high credible journalists, Fab being one of them, has said that it's close. And you've got to believe the people that are close to those deals, and a lot, some of the agents close to those deals know that it's almost done. So that Man City fans are not going to worry about KDB going anywhere else at the point in time. If they were banned for the Champions League the last 2 seasons, then we might be having a different discussion. So, but because KDB wants to play at the highest level, so Man City fans can relax at this point in time.
Yeah. Over the past few weeks, we've heard a player that has been up in the air, Max Aarons from Norwich City, the right back. We've heard that Spurs were interested, Barcelona were interested, and now Manchester United. Do you think that he might leave this window, or what's his situation at the moment?
If he does leave this window, it's going to be about £25 million. So it's whether or not United want to pay £25 million for Max Aarons. And I think it's probably worth the deal because he looks like a quality signing. There's nothing concrete. There's nothing concrete with Max Aarons at the moment. It's more of the Manchester United and Ollie's, they prefer or actually have a preference that if they are going to sign a right back, it would be Max Aarons. And they also have some sort of admiration for him as well. So, Spurs looked at him, but Spurs went for Doherty. So, and Barcelona went for Dest. So, I can see United picking up Max Aarons, but they need to do a couple of sales. It might happen at the end of this window, and United might pull the deal and say, actually, we do want this player in, and we want to get him in quickly. And he does look like a quality signing, Fred. So he seems the type of player that Ollie would want, the attacking sort of style and the assist that he can provide and the defending that he does. So it's one to watch out for. Just at the moment, there's no concrete talks. There haven't been any advanced talks to say, to go to Norwich and say, okay, right, we want the player, we're willing to pay the 25 million. So United probably will be looking to say 25 million is a bit too much. Can you negotiate it down a little bit? So it's going to be an interesting one, and United will be heavily involved in more rumours to the end of the January. So, but if they are going to do a deal, it'd be Max Aarons in this window. But we'll see with it. But it's not advanced at the moment, so there's nothing really to speak about with Max Aarons at the moment, except that Manchester United do want him.
Yeah, Mauricio Pochettino has been officially announced as the Paris Saint-Germain manager right now. We spoke about him in episode 2 of the Football League Hub podcast. If you haven't listened to that, you can give that a listen. It's a good listen. Some very interesting stuff on there. Yeah. There's been some rumors that Dele Alli might be joining the band again. Is there anything?
Well, he's definitely going. So, because Mourinho doesn't like him, and it's clear as day. And Mourinho does this, as you know, Fred. He sounds players out that he thinks is a weak link, and he uses them excuses. That's the way I see. Mourinho is a fantastic manager, but his player management skills are lacking a little bit in those fields. So, but with Dele Alli, he's not enjoying his football, is he? That he did when he was under Poch, he was enjoying his football. And interestingly enough, Dele Alli was linked to PSG, and he was close to going to PSG, but Levy blocked it because they didn't have enough signings to cover any injuries. But I would say, it's time for Dele Alli to leave, and there's a lot of news around it, and it'd be great for him to go to PSG where Poch is, because Poch will get the best out of him, and he'll play nicely in the French league, and they need that type of player anyway. So, it's time for him to go. He's not enjoying his relationship with Mourinho, and Mourinho clearly doesn't. And it's quite ironic with Mourinho because he wanted him at Manchester United. So it's a bizarre concept, but I think there's probably been a little bit more gone on behind the scenes with Dele Alli and Mourinho, and there's probably been a clash. So when that happens, then normally the player ends up going if the manager's performing well. So Dele Alli is leaving, and if he doesn't leave, I'll be very surprised by Dele Alli. So at the moment, he's going to be in talks with PSG, and Poch has probably already reached out. To be fair, from what my understanding is, so let's hope, because Dele Alli a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, was brilliant footballer, and you don't lose that. And he just looks like he's suffering from confidence at the moment.
Yeah. Staying in France, Memphis Depay, former Manchester United player. Apparently, he has a price tag of only £5 million, which is crazy for a player of his quality. We've heard rumors that he might be off to Barcelona or Juventus in this window. Is there any truth in that?
With Depay, he was close to going to Barcelona anyway. So if because of the fee, there's going to be loads of clubs involved in looking at Depay. If I'm honest, is Barcelona is the likely destination for Depay, being that Koeman is there, and it's a lot easier for him to start playing the type of football that Koeman wants. So Depay is a bargain at $5 million. I'm surprised that Manchester United haven't looked at him, but they're not interested in it, and I guess that's because Ollie is building a different type of team. But Depay is definitely going to Barcelona, and I wish him luck. That's what he wants to, where he wants to play, and his agent has already said it, and he said it last year that he wants Depay to go to Barcelona. So that's a good little signing for them, and hopefully that will push them on. But then that Barcelona could end up getting rid of Dembele, but I think Dembele is going to stay till the end of the season anyway. So let's see what happens with that one.
Yeah. In France,
Great.
Olympique Lyon midfielder Hussam Aouar has been linked to a number of top clubs in Europe, like Arsenal, Juventus, and PSG. There was a lot of noise that he would be going to Arsenal in the summer. Is there any chance that he might move in January?
Lyon want about 50 million, don't they? So, what do you think of the player? Because I've seen a little bit of him, and I don't know if he justifies the fee this season. So, but French midfielders tend to go to Arsenal. So, I'd be interested to see what you as a football fan, because I'll give you the news of where he's going afterwards. But I'd be interested to see what you think of that particular player.
Hussam Aouar is a top player. As a Manchester United fan, he's one of my potential replacements for Paul Pogba. I think he's a top player. I've watched him in the Champions League a lot over the past 2 seasons. I think he's 22 now. He's got the passing range, his shooting, he's got the engine. He can go up and down the field all day. He's a top player. His technique is amazing, especially his passing. He reminds me of a less skillful Paul Pogba. He's a very good player. I really like him. I've actually known about him since he was about 19 when he broke through at Lyon. He's a top player, and I think he would be good for Arsenal, but I think Arsenal just need that attacking. He's a box-to-box midfielder. I think Arsenal need a more attacking player. I think they need someone who is just going to attack, someone like a Bruno Fernandes or a De Bruyne. I think they need that kind of player.
So with there is credible interest with Arsenal, but they've got to spend a lot of money to get him, and whether or not that's going to be in the summer. But they are in pole position to sign that player. Now with Arsenal, I agree what you're saying with a box-to-box player. And they need a creative midfielder, but actually they do need, you've got Xhaka and they've got Partey and they've got a few other midfielders. But the issue they've got is those those midfielders they've got not good enough for us. And I've said this in the past in the last podcast, which you can listen to, where I talk about Arteta and the players he's got. Is that's the type of player that Arsenal want, but we'll see if they get him, because at the moment it's a fee that's demanding. Juventus might look him in as well, but they're more interested in Pogba. So and they can't sign both. So at the moment, Arsenal are in pole position to sign that player. It's just whether they pull the trigger now or they wait till the summer. So in my books, I think that if they're going to try and push on, they should try now in the winter to push on the deal. But I can't see him moving until the summer. But if someone pays the fee, he'll go. But whoever gets him, I guess, he's going to be a quality player for them. So it'd be interested in signing for them. But at the moment, there's nothing amazingly advanced with the player going anywhere. So, and I just can't see Lyon selling Depay and in the same window. I think they might wait till the summer for that one, Fred.
Yeah. I mean, the hottest topic in the transfer biz over the past 8 months or a year, Jaden Sancho. We have to talk about him. Yeah, I know United fans and Chelsea fans always want to talk about him.
I don't know why Chelsea fans want to speak about him, because it's not good nowhere near that club, I'm afraid. But yeah.
Well, is there any chance for Jaden Sancho? I mean, I personally think that the only way Jaden Sancho leaves in this window is if he hands in a transfer request and Manchester United cough up a lot of money. Do you think there's a chance of that happening?
Nah, it's not going to happen. So I'm sorry to say, the Sancho deal is the summer. United would have to pay close to what Dortmund were asking in the last summer. And I don't see them doing that. There was a lot of rumours about Liverpool entering the race for Sancho. Again, I don't see Liverpool even going close to trying to sign someone for 80 million to 100 million euros when they've got those front three and they need to sell one of those. So I'd rule them out as well. I think Manchester United know that, and I'll tell this to the users and the people on Twitter is that if you're watching the Sancho tweets and you're looking at them and you're thinking it's close, it's not going to be close. And we had this last summer. So the only thing I can tell you is the wage has already been agreed, and that was agreed back in April, and that hasn't changed. And Sancho wants to play with Rashford and Greenwood as the front three. So there's a lot of positives and benefits for United to be a little bit more relaxed about that situation. But what I will say is Dortmund have shot themselves in the foot massively in terms of what United were willing to give last summer and what the value will be next summer, because it won't be the same. And Dortmund have come out with a slight statement. You might have seen it, Fred, where they were talking about Sancho was ready to move in the weeks in the summer window. Yeah. So they clearly regretting not selling him now. And I said this back in November, is that Dortmund are going to regret keeping the player that's not happy at the club. And you can see it. And I know he's performed quite well. His goals assist ratio is still pretty impressive. It's just not where it was, last season. Yeah. So, and the consistency of those performances are not the same, and people talk about confidence, and I just don't think he's happy at Dortmund, and Dortmund have shot themselves massively in the foot, in my opinion. And I think United are just going to come in and say, here's the check. No one else is going to give you that money. We'll take Sancho. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And Dortmund will concede in the end. And I was an avid person to say Sancho doesn't need to come to United last summer. United can wait for Sancho, and then it's clear that was true. So I don't see them going to spend that amount of money in January. It's a centre back that they'll be looking for if they can do the deal for that. So, but miracles do happen, Fred. So let's see what happens. But I don't want people to be on Twitter constantly typing in Sancho and looking for hashtag Sancho, looking for him constantly, because you're not going to hear anything in the next weeks or so. So they need to relax about that and be careful the type of Twitter handles that they're following, because some people are going to tell you that the Sancho's deal done just for the bait reasons. So I would tell them to be cautious of how that deal is. But they're in pole position and they're favourites, and I'm 100% sure that Sancho will sign to Manchester United, which is good news for United fans. But let's see.
What about Paul Pogba? We spoke about him in episode 1. Do you think there's still a little bit of a chance that he might leave in January?
Well, if United, no, I don't see him leaving in January, because no club's going to be able to afford him in January. They're after him. So Juventus want Paul Pogba, but they're not going to be able to afford him. So I think they'll be looking to try and sell Dybala to get some money off that, and then try and sign Pogba in the summer. I just think, PSG are looking at Pogba as well. So, but I just think that no one's going to look at Pogba, and I think United are clear indication that they want him for the rest of the season. And you know what?
Yeah.
If United win the league this season, and if they do win the league, then there's a chance. Then there's a massive chance of winning the league. It's as close as they've been since Ferguson's left, so they're in a good position. But it's too early days for me to say that they're dead set. But Pogba might be reevaluating his position and saying, "We've just won the Premier League. United playing fantastic football. Perhaps I was a little bit too hasty with my decision of leaving." But United might be set, and I know what United are saying at the moment is this: he's a problem child. He's fantastic on the pitch when he's playing, not been consistent for 5 years, but he's got the best talent in the squad. Is that we can get some money for this player and get someone in who's going to work hard, So there's a bit of both. So it's whether or not United are willing to say, okay, maybe we'll try and sign you a new contract, and also deal with the I'm going to say it. His agent's a complete idiot, and he is. And I've never seen someone get involved in these communications. Someone needs to step in with him, because I've never seen an agent that's got so heavily involved in stuff when it's between the club and the player. And I'm really surprised that he hasn't had any sanctions on him, and it will come for him when it changes the rules. But I'm sorry to say, but Pogba's, the way he's being representative is not great for an elite player. So, Pogba needs to think a little bit wisely, of his next move and what he's going to be doing.
Yeah. How about Jesse Lingard?
Yeah.
It looks like his Manchester United career is over, unfortunately. But you've heard that there's some interest from, I think, was it Sheffield United?
Burnley as well.
Burnley, West Ham, and
he'll go to a mid-table Premier League club, whether or not it's now or it's in the summer. But he's still got a lot to give. It's just that he's not what Ollie wants anymore. And Ollie's got Bruno Fernandes, and he's got that midfield he's got. And, he doesn't need Lingard anymore. He wants to replace him with a lot younger players. So, he's just brought in Pedestrian. Ahmed Diallo is on his way, and there's all sorts of different players come into the club. So, I feel sorry for Lingard, because obviously Manchester United, but he needs a new career path he needs to go to a different club now. So Lingard will go. The only, they signed they didn't sign it, just extended the contract for another year, only because they want to keep the value, and that's all that will be. So Lingard's off. There's no other alternative. He won't be staying at the club. Wish him well. He's had a few key moments for United. I think we remember the one where Manchester United went down to 10 men and he scored that pretty good goal in the FA Cup final. So, he's had his moments.
Yeah, as a United fan, I've had some fantastic moments with Jesse Lingard. Lingardinho, I love him. He's a fantastic guy. Yeah, it's sad to see him go, but I think it's best for his career if he moves somewhere else.
What's nice about him, Fred, is he's not sulking. So you can see him smiling. He's still joking around. He still loves the Manchester United team. And he'll be, he'll be crying when he leaves the club, but he'll know that he needs to go on to a different journey and enjoy that journey, in the twilight of your career. So, it's a shame that it's gone like that. And I don't think he's achieved what he thought he would achieve, and his potential is probably bigger than what he's shown. But wish him well.
Yeah, wish him well, absolutely. And what about his England counterpart, Brandon Williams? Talk of a loan deal potentially agreed with Newcastle earlier today.
Yeah.
Where do you reckon he'll go?
I mean, really, if Williams is going, then that poses the question: is United going for Max Aarons? Because, but there was other rumours where they were talking about where someone wanted him on permanent, and then another club wanted him for an 18-month deal. Now, likely United don't want to get rid of him. They want to still keep him. He's United, through and through. So Ollie will probably look for a 12-month or a small loan deal, maybe 6 months. But if Max, and that poses a question then that maybe Manchester United, if they are willing to let him go on their loan, then they are looking for an alternative, because they're not going to just rely on Wan-Bissaka to get them through the season. So that's interesting. I think if we see Williams go off on the loan, then there's certainly going to see the talks increase with Max Aarons. So let's keep an eye on that one. That's probably going to be an interesting story, actually. And I'd be quite excited if I was a United fan if those two deals. And there could be a potential where Brandon Williams goes on the loan to Norwich and Max Aaron comes to United way. So it'll be interesting, and I think it'll be quite exciting for United fans. But at the moment, it's not. The deal isn't where the deal isn't fully agreed with Newcastle. I know there's some interest from Newcastle as well. So a few clubs will look at him, and he needs that experience under his belt, Fred, to be honest.
Yeah, he really does. Well, another Norwich City player. We're moving on to Arsenal now. Manuel Bendia, if I've pronounced it right. He's been linked strongly to Arsenal over the past few weeks. Top player. He's a very good creator. What do you think his future is going to be? And do you think there's a chance that he might move to Arsenal in this window?
I think he'll move in 2021 for sure, because look at his assists and his creative movements, and he makes some key critical passes, and it's the sort of player that Arteta's looking for. But also another club, Spurs, are actually looking at this player as well, Fred. So because Mourinho likes the look of him as well, and he's quite a creative midfielder from the looks of things. So I think a few clubs are going to be looking at him, but he's definitely going to move 2021. Just not heard massive talks yet about that. But Spurs and Arsenal are looking at him, so it's not just Arsenal with that one, Fred.
Yeah, staying in Arsenal.
Great player, though.
Yeah, he's a great player, definitely. I remember when he was in the Premier League last season. He looked like a very creative player.
That's what they need,
yeah,
Fred. I mean, that's what Arsenal need, and you can see that when they had Smith Rowe on the play. Is they need creative players, and I said this about Arsenal last week on the podcast. And you said it yourself. They don't have the creative players for Aubameyang or Lacazette to be able to score those critical chances, and they've got a lot of possession and understand those tactics. They just didn't have those creative midfielders. So of course they're going to be linked to every single creative midfielder that's available. But there's only certain people there's only a certain amount of players they can sign. So there's probably a short list, and I would say Isco and they're all on the short list at the moment.
Yeah, going on to another creative player who is at Arsenal at the moment, but can't seem to get into the team or even get into the squad.
Surprising, isn't it?
Mesut Ozil.
Yeah, I'm still so surprised that he's not playing. And I know there's been issues, but he's one of their best creative midfielder players on the day. Even if he was on the bench, Fred, I still don't understand why. And Ozil is, he's going to leave at the end of the season for sure. He might just wait until his contract ends. He's on about 350k plus, so don't blame him for staying at the club, because no one else is going to offer him 350k because he hasn't been playing for the last year. So, he's probably going to say, "Oh, I'll just wait until my contract ends, and then you're not going to get a transfer fee from me, and I'll go on a free." And then he'll just say, Arsenal, see you later. Took all the money, gone. But Arteta should be making the most out of the player for the next 6 months. I'm really surprised they hasn't brought him in, and I guess that's being stubborn. But you've just seen that certain games where they've either lost or drawn, that they needed that type of player and they haven't done it. So that was a mistake by Arteta leaving that player out, in my opinion. And I know there's been some problems or attitude issues and stuff like that, but why not for the next 6 months get him to play in the club? If you can't get any of the creative midfielders you want in this window, then maybe they should be looking at giving a possible chance for Ozil to show what he's got in the next 6 months. And that's my opinion with them.
Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest. I think on his day, Mesut Ozil is one of the best creators in the world. I rank him up there with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes now.
But, it's one of them. It's one of those weird things when you fall out of the club, and then you're just sitting by the wayside, just putting loads of tweets out and stuff. That's pretty much what he's been doing the last year, bless him. So, he's such a quality player. I just think that, someone in the Premier League should still be looking at him. Someone, I know that he's linked to a lot of China and Turkey, because to be honest, Fred, if he wants the same wages he's getting now, he'll go to China. So that might be his likely destination if he just wants to, to still be on 350k a week. But I would be, if I was a Premier League club, I'd be looking at that player, if I was honest. If I was mid-table or close to the Champions League, why not have a stab in the dark? He's a free transfer. He can be negotiated this month.
Yeah.
So, we're going to see something about. We'll see an announcement about Ozil in the next couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah. Well, as we promised, we are going to talk about Manchester United's director of football news. You talked about it in our Discord server, which, by the way, will be in the link in the description. Fantastic 24/7 chats with Manchester United, Chelsea, Barcelona, and so many other fans from all over the world. So you can join. The link is in the description. You were talking about Manchester United having a short list of director of football who could potentially be signed in the next couple of months. What's your update on that?
So obviously in Discord in the last week or so, I've been saying that I've got some news, and the news relates to the director of football, but I had to get it confirmed first. What I want to say is that you're not going to hear much about the director of football in this window, because they're going to be concentrating on selling players or trying to bring a couple of players in. Now, the director of football is that Luis Ocampos is going to have talks with Manchester United. Okay. And Mark Overmars will have some talks. So some of the talks will happen with some of the director of football on the short list, and that will be after the winter window. So that's moving along nicely, and that will be installed in the summer, and that's confirmation. So, this is good news for Manchester United. To finally have a director of football that understands, and I would go, and if I was you, and Manchester United, I'd go with Luis Ocampos, only because he knows where the talent is. I mean, some of the players in the French league, unbelievable. And the amount of money that he's been able to get for them, crazy. Look at Pepe. I mean, 72 million. I know I'm laughing. It's just, it's and Arsenal fans, I feel sorry for them. They spend 72 million pounds, and he's better headbutting than he is playing football. But and this is the thing with Manchester United and Man United fans. This might be the best bit of news for them that they've had in years. Is that what you can see now? Is that you can see that Ollie's starting to bring in his own staff, like proper staff, like Darren Fletcher's coming. He's just signed someone else. He's
Robbie
looking
Sadler.
at sports science, and he's looking at sports science a lot more. So that tells me that Man United are looking at a massive restructure, and they're also putting Ollie at the front piece of it. Which, if Ollie's top 2 this season, he'll get a contract extension. But the director of football is going to be installed in the summer, and that's a change of guard for Manchester United. And why I say it's happening now. So a lot of fans will be saying, well, why is it happening? Why is it happening now? And it didn't happen 7 years before. And what it is, Fred, is that COVID has forced United's hand to get better deals when they go to, because they were getting wobbed to blind with, Maguire 80 million, which is a lot of money. Yeah. They need a director of football to step in to say, actually, this is where the value is, and this is what we're paying, and then they're going to find more talent. The scouting networks now increasing at Manchester United as well, as you can see with the signings they've played. So, and they've always had a good network. It's just finally signing those players. So that is very good news for Manchester United fans. And I know the Discord people are going to go crazy because they're going to be happy about it. So it's an interesting bit of news, and the director of football will be involved in finalising that Sancho deal, from what my understanding is.
Yeah. Do you think there's a strong link to the Barcelona in terms of director of football for Manchester United? Do you think there's a strong link to the Barcelona presidential race? Because I heard a couple of days ago that every nominee for the presidency has his own,
some of them want Mark Overmars.
Yeah.
Some of them want Mark Overmars, some of them want Lewis. But Luis Ocampos prefers England. So let's see what happens with it. But Barcelona, you can't turn them down as well. But Barcelona are in a bit of a mess at the moment, Fred. So if I was a director of football, I wouldn't be going there anytime soon because they've not got a lot of money to spend with. So what's the director of football going to be doing? So, Manchester United are better financially for the director of football to stamp his ground. So, and that's what Luis Ocampos is looking at, is that when you're looking at Barcelona is that they're in debt. So what are they going to do? What's the director of football doing? Okay, yes, he's going to look at youth players to bring in, but they've already got a fantastic youth setup. So he would probably want to stamp his ground more on Manchester United as opposed to going to Barcelona. So, Barcelona presidents can say what they like or who they want, but at the end of the day, they've not got a lot of money to spend. So
yeah,
I just don't see it happening on that one. And then, United will get a director of football. It's going to be confirmed, and it will be fantastic for them. And that's a change of guard. So, but the COVID's impacted as such for them to force their hand to deal with this sort of stuff now. And Manchester United are not, they're starting to compete again, as you can see. So the Glazers are probably perked up their interest again, which is very strange, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 3 of the Football League podcast, everyone. It's been a great show, some very good updates. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter. The link will be in the description. You can join our Discord server. The link will be in the description. And you can listen to the podcast on Spotify if you want.
Yeah.
So
thanks
for listening.
The only thing I would say as well, on top of what Fred's just said now, is that our Discord is now increasing. We've got nearly 600 members on there. So it's very popular. We're going to send out a lot of content on YouTube throughout the month ahead. So there's going to be some interesting stuff to talk about. And obviously grow this channel where we want it to go. So we're ambitious individuals. We want to achieve and obviously give you the right news on the right platform, so that you're not looking on Twitter constantly at some of the weird and wonderful news that comes from Twitter. So we want to provide you some clear indication of what is actually happening with transfers. So hopefully you enjoy and stick with us, and we'll deliver some more news through the window. So thank you guys, appreciate it today.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you in episode 4.